Good morning. Been a while since I've made an aviation video. 6:53 in the morning, and I'm driving to the airport, getting the Mooney, and take it over to Lancaster, Pennsylvania for the avionics shop. I got to fix a couple little things in the plane, see what's going on. See you on the plane. Alright, so this morning I'm flying to Lancaster, Pennsylvania from Old Bridge, New Jersey. I have a couple little squawks here in the plane that I need to have looked at. My autopilot's been acting up intermittently, and on top of that, I have a electrical interference or a short somewhere. Every time I use some sort of an electrical device within the panel on my approaches, my GPS loses satellites. So when I put in electric flaps, or I use the electric trim on the yoke, or once at night even when I turn on my dome light, I lose GPS satellites. So I need to have that looked at. There's got to be a ground short somewhere, likely on the same bus as the GPS. So we're going to go over to Lancaster for avionics, have a look as to what's going on, see if we can fix it. So plane's up and running now. Do a quick checklist. The pre-flight's been done previously in the hangar. So we just started the airplane. And fuel pressure is good. We got flow. Leaned it out a little bit on the ground. It's not too hot today after the heat wave. It's a nice calm wind VFR day. Radio master's on, external lights are as desired. We're going to go with our strobes and our nav lights. Okay, ours is up and running. Instruments are normal and in the green. Radio frequencies are set to our CTAF. We're going to get on with approach once we're in the air. We're not going to file today. It's nice and clear, so we're going to have a VFR flight following. We're going to get on with likely McGuire. I presume they're going to switch me over to Philly right away. 126475. So it's going to be 2647 for McGuire. We'll bug that in. I'm going to go ahead and get the weather here at Old Bridge.
Old Bridge Airport, VFR automated weather advisory. Wind 020 at 3. Visibility 6. Sky condition clear. Temperature to 1 Celsius, dew point 1 for Celsius, altimeter 3012.
Okay, so as expected, it's a nice, cool, calm day, and clouds aren't too cumulus. It is early in the morning, but humidity is not terrible. Altimeter is nice and high. 3012 is a nice high pressure. So we should expect a calm flight, although I hate to say this in advance, not to jinx it, but high altimeter days are always a little bit smoother. All right, radio master's on, external lights are as desired, instruments are normal, radio frequencies are set, we got the weather, the fuel tanks are going to be on the right tank, which is a little bit fuller, cowl flaps are verified open. Next, pre-taxi, we're going to do a quick brake check. Okay, right brake, left brake, and both are operational. And as we're taxiing, I'm going to make sure the artificial horizon is slightly banking on turns and the ball coordinator goes opposite direction. All right, we're going to go up to the run-up area by runway 6. Winds are pretty calm, but they look to be favoring 6. So make a quick call.
Open traffic, Mooney 242 Hotel Mike, taxi for runway 06, Old Bridge.
we're going to get over to the runway. Got somebody over there cutting the grass at the end. So we'll stop and do a run up a little short so we're not blowing too much wind on them. All right, we got our altimeter set, we got our backup altimeter set. And we'll angle the plane. Okay, quick run up. Mixture's going full rich. RPM's to 1200. Prop and mixture are full. Cowl flaps are verified open. Ram air is verified closed. Magneto ground check. 1900. I like to go normalize mode. Makes it easier to see any abrupt changes. We're going to go left magneto. Drop of 80, back to both. Right magneto. Drop of 70, back to both with intolerance. We're going to pull out the prop, looking for that RPM drop and that oil pressure drop, and then a recovery. We're going to pull idle, check annunciator lights, remove normalize mode, and recover to 1000. Okay, trim and flaps are set for takeoff. Flight controls up, down are free and correct. We're going to remove the passenger headset from the yoke. Doors and seatbelts are secured. Annunciator light was just tested. Lights and strobes are on. Pilot's window is closed. Emergency gear extension handle is latched. We're going to do a quick autopilot test. Temporary disconnect is good. And full disconnect is good. And then light test, good. All right, verify oil pressure is out of the red. And takeoff, we're squawking 1200. We're going to rotate at 63 knots. All right. We got master, we got mixture, we got magnetos, we got flaps, we got trim, we got fuel in the fullest tank. We're squawking, and we're going to bug our runway. We're going to do this flight to Lancaster at 4,500 feet, so we're going to bug that on our altitude. And we'll make a call. Over traffic, Mooney 242 Hotel Mike, taking runway 6 for VFR departure to the west, Oldbridge. Okay. Base is clear and final are clear. Line up with the runway. Shown 6, bugged on 6, and word compass confirmed on 6. Final cross check. Fuel is good, pressure is good, everything is green, and we're set to go. Airspeed's alive, fuel pressure's good, we're making full power. 50 knots. 63, we're light, so we're going to rotate. We're going to come right off the ground. Accelerate to 70, gear comes up. And we're clear of the trees, 85 knots, we can clean our flaps. Trim down. And we're going to climb out at 90. Those get this terrain warning here with the trees. Sometimes it scares my passengers, but it's totally normal. All right, 500 feet, we're going to start our crosswind turn to the left. What a beautiful day. And 1,000 feet, our auxiliary pump can come off. We'll depart on a left downwind, and we'll call McGuire. traffic, Mooney 242 Hotel Mike, departed runway 6, will be leaving the pattern on a left downwind to the west, Old Bridge. All right, let's get over to McGuire. McGuire, good morning, Mooney 242 Hotel Mike with request. All right, we're going to go 26 squared for a cruise climb. So 2,600 RPM and 26 inches of manifold.
That's before calling again.
Mooney 242 Hotel Mike, McGuire approach.
Mooney 242 Hotel Mike, McGuire approach, 4 altimeter 3008, ident request.
3008 on the altimeter, and ident and 2 Hotel Mike departed runway 6 out of Old Bridge, looking to pick up a VFR flight following to Lancaster. It's Lima, November Sierra, 2 Hotel Mike. What a beautiful.
And number 2 Hotel Mike, you're about to exit my airspace. You can try New York approach on 128.55.
All right, 2855, have a good morning. That's what I figured, they're going to hand me off. All right, let's try it. New York approach, good morning, Mooney 242 Hotel Mike, VFR.
FedEx 1514 Heavy, continue down to 3000. Continue down to 3000, FedEx 1514 Heavy. Number 242 Hotel Mike, was it?
Affirm, 2 Hotel Mike departed runway 6 out of Old Bridge, VFR flight following please for Lancaster, Lima, November Sierra.
What was your type aircraft again, I'm sorry?
We are a Mooney Mike 20 Papa, 2 Hotel Mike.
Number 2 Hotel Mike, squawk 0326.
0326, 2 Hotel Mike. All right, we've got about 1,000 feet to go on our climb out. We're going to settle out at 4,500, level off.
Hotel Mike, your radar contact position check, show you 3400, New account limit 3012, 3500 now.
Affirm in the altimeter and 3012, 2 Hotel Mike. Okay.
New Hotel Mike, what are you climbing to?
We're going to cruise at 4,500 to Lancaster, 2 Hotel Mike.
Roger that. FedEx 1514 Heavy, 10 miles from Gritty, cross it at about 2,800. You cleared the ILS floor, right?
Right, FedEx 1514 Heavy, cross Gritty at above 2,800, clear for the ILS 4 at approach.
So we're going to settle off here another 300 feet at 4,500. We'll trim. See if my autopilot works. Once we cruise, we'll get on the lean assist here on the JPI, try to save a little bit of fuel and save the spark plugs by enriching, leaning out the mixture a little bit. I like to go 100 degrees rich of peak. I don't have gammy injectors in this airplane. I also like to go faster, so I try to maintain speed over efficiency. I know a lot of people like to save fuel. My primary goal in an airplane is to get where I'm going quickly. I'm not trying to time build, I'm trying to travel. So we're going to go down here. I'm going to go to a nice power cruise here of 2,500 RPM and 25 inches of manifold pressure. And we'll cruise there. Should get us going pretty quickly. And we're picking up our speed. We do have a 26 knot quartering headwind from the right at the moment. So our ground speed tracking over the earth will be slightly slower than our indicated airspeed. But that's okay. Or excuse me, our true airspeed. But a relatively short flight to Lancaster.
FedEx 1514 Heavy, speed your discretion. Contact Tower 1183. Good morning.
183.
Only about a 35-minute flight remaining.
Thanks. Number 2 Hotel Mike, contact Philadelphia approach 123.8. See you later.
All right, 23.8, catch you on the way back to Hotel Mike. Philly approach, good morning, Mooney 242 Hotel Mike.
Mooney 242 Hotel Mike, Philly approach, altimeter 3012, what's your destination today?
3012, 4,500 feet, destination Lancaster.
Number 3 Mike Pop, additional traffic 12 to 1 o'clock and 2 miles. Looks like they're circling 3,000 indicated. Brickyard 4444, turn right 240, don't localize, report the field in sight. Brickyard 4444, eclipse approach, runway 27 right, and 180 or greater till 5 miles final.
We're going to come down a little bit on the power. Low to the ground, it just makes the ride a little bumpier, and with that headwind, it's not going to make a big difference. Those are tail flaps now that we're settled. Cylinder head temperatures are good. Outside air temperature is only 65 degrees Fahrenheit.
Pop traffic, no factor, no other traffic observed. Radar service terminates squawk VFR. Have a good day.
All right, we're on course. We're going to start leaning. We're looking for our EGTs to peak. And our gallons per hour.
74429er.
Gallons per hour here on the right.
74429, go ahead.
74429er is 8 north to Trenton, climbing through 2.5 for 3. Request advisory to Lancaster, Lima, November, Sierra.
Now we're going to enrich it back until we get 100 degrees. Rich of peak.
74429, squawk 0234.
0234, 74429er.
This power setting probably end up somewhere around 10 gallons per hour.
74429.
429er, let's say, I don't know, 3 by 5 or so.
Thank you, 429.
429er, you're on radar contact, Lee, altimeter 3012, maintain VFR on course to Lancaster.
VFR on course to Lancaster, 74429.
For 5 Juliet Alpha, contact Philly approach 119.75. 119.
Yep, we're right around 9.5 to 9.7 gallons per hour.
Contact New York Center 124.62.
Normalize mode. Step over to cylinder number 4, which is always my warmest DHT. I like to monitor that one, make sure he stays under 380 or so. If he goes above, we'll definitely want to keep him under 400. If he hits 380, I usually open a small little notch on my cowl flaps, and that cools him down pretty well. I like Homing IO 360. It's an air-cooled engine. As long as you got airflow in, good airspeed, you can use your cowl flaps, and then you can always enrich. So right now we have a true airspeed down here at 4,500 feet, where you still have a lot of drag, dense air. True airspeed of 144 knots. We're only running 68% of horsepower, and we're truing at 145 at the moment with a ground speed of only 128 knots. For those not in aviation, if you don't know, a knot or a nautical mile is 15% greater than a statute mile. So the miles you're accustomed to using in your car, you got to multiply by 1.15 in order to see what that is for nautical miles. So when someone reports 100 nautical miles, that is 115 statute miles. Right now we're truing at 146 with a ground speed of 129. Getting a little bit of oscillations, not too bad. If it gets a little turbulent down here, we'll just pull some power. Now that I'm configured for cruise, my mixture is leaned out. We got the radio handled. Traffic in the area is handled. Next thing I like to do is I like to plan ahead. Plan 15, 20 minutes ahead. So I am on a VFR flight following. I don't need to worry about radio frequencies because they're going to provide me with the frequencies. But I do like to go ahead and look at my destination because I am only 30 minutes from there. I like to go to my destination, which is Lancaster. I will pull up there frequency for their weather. So I'm going to look at the ATIS. They do have an ATIS. It is a towered Class Delta airport. So 12567 I'll put on my backup. I have their ATIS here. I will check it out probably about, right now we're 71 nautical miles from the field. When I get closer to maybe 40 or 45 miles away, I'll check the ATIS. We're going to have to give that to their approach controller prior to landing. Also a good idea to understand what the winds are doing, get any NOTAMs or notices that are essential for flights coming in. And as usual, my autopilot's acting up, so I just took it off autopilot. I'm actually going to hand fly this entire flight, which is fine. Autopilot conked out on me on the way to Florida. I had to hand fly the whole thing. That can get a little bit annoying, but then again, I mean, people hand flew airplanes for many years before autopilots were a thing, so makes you a little bit of a more proficient pilot when you have to hand fly. But it is nice on a longer leg to try to relax a little and reduce your task overload by letting the autopilot hold your altitude and heading. But it doesn't seem to want to cooperate at the moment. It was holding heading fine, but altitude hold wasn't doing that well. All right, so we have our ATIS for Lancaster bugged in. I like to also have my tower on standby here, 1209. But we're not going to bug that yet, because I like to monitor a guard. I like to monitor a guard on COM 2, and COM 1 is not ready because we're still going to get handed off to a couple of different approach controllers.
300 Whiskey Echo, go ahead.
We're going to follow a heading of about
What's your type aircraft again?
278, which is just slightly north of due west.
And requested altitude?
Now this airplane, because it is slick and powerful for what it is, it likes to climb. It has a nose down attitude, but it has a climbing tendency. So when you're running a particular power setting, if you don't trim it nose down, it's going to want to climb on you. So first mistake I made when I bought this airplane coming out of a Piper Cherokee, I was still a student pilot, and I'm using the Cherokee to essentially just get to cruise, you pull the power back, you trim, and you're good to go. This plane, I didn't know, but if you trim it once, the power continues to build up. I mean, you get to a true airspeed of 155 to 160 on occasions. And as the power builds up, the speed builds up, the nose tends to want to climb on you. So what happened was I accidentally busted the Bravo airspace over in New York, coming out of Morristown, climbed up to 2,500. The lower Bravo shelf out there is 3,000. And unbeknownst to me, I kept climbing. I was busy with the radio and my navigation, not looking at my altitude, and I climbed an additional 500 feet. And I got yelled at by the tower controller to vacate the Bravo immediately. Luckily, he didn't write me up for it, but something you definitely have to be on alert for. So with Mooney's, I called a friend of mine who's been flying them for years. I said, what happened? I was leveled at 2,500. I had my cruise setting. I trimmed down, nose down, and the plane kept climbing. I wasn't paying attention. He said, you got to trim a Mooney 3 times. He says, you cruise, you trim, you let the air build up, you trim, you let the air build up, you trim, and by the 3rd trim, you should be able to hold your altitude at that point. They're very trim sensitive. The entire tailpiece actually moves. So, little lesson for any aspiring or would-be Mooney owners or any current Mooney owners. I'm sure you guys know already. Phenomenal airplane, very slippery, very minimal drag, very efficient, very fun to fly, very responsive. But you have to fly them a little differently than your trainer aircraft, your Cessnas, your Pipers. There's no full deflection. I mean, the very, very small inputs on the inside controls give very severe outputs on the external controls. So you literally, it's like a sports car. A little bit of throttle, a little bit of steering gives you a lot of response. Unlike an SUV where you have to take more invasive action if you wanted to respond to what you're doing. So with Moonies, you have to fly them like a sports car, and you have to understand the airplane and the aerodynamics of it, and you do have to fly the airspeed. It's very important. Another problem I had, and I think a lot of people have initially, is they tend to come in a little fast with them. They're a little difficult to slow down on approaches if you don't understand how to use it. You can pull idle and glide, and it'll maintain airspeed and it'll maintain altitude pretty well. Best glide speed on this plane is 90 knots, and it will glide a pretty decent distance. So I think it's got a 11-to-1 or a 12-to-1 glide ratio. So very, very good, efficient airplane, but you have to fly the airspeeds. You're going to have some trouble landing it. It does not have traditional landing gear where you have shock absorbers. It has these little hockey puck looking things, and they're very unforgiving. They like to bounce. So if you don't land the plane real gentle, like a soft field landing every time, you're going to bounce the nose gear. There's only about 9 inches of prop clearance, and the first bounce is free. The second one could be a prop strike. So if you bounce it, you want to go around. If you're coming in too fast, even 5 knots, you can use up an extra 1,000 feet of runway to float. So if you're in a shorter runway, you're coming in 5 knots too fast, unless you have gusts, you better do a go around. So very precise airplane, but somewhat unforgiving. All right, going to get the ATIS, which is the weather in Lancaster.
Visibility 10, sky clear. Temperature 21, dew point 13, altimeter 3014. Visual approach, runway 26 or 31 in use. Advise on contact. You have information, Charlie. Lancaster Tower information, Charlie 1153, observation, wind 080 at 3, visibility 10, sky.
All right.
Number 2, Hotel Mike, contact spreading approach 125.15.
12515.
November 429er, contact spreading approach 1.
Reading approach, Mooney 242, Hotel Mike, 4,500.
Mooney 242, Hotel Mike, reading approach, reading altimeter 3015.
15.
Mooney 2, Hotel Mike, say destination.
Direct Lancaster, 2 Hotel Mike.
Roger.
So I set a VCalc, which is a vertical calculator. Tells you when you need to start to descend down into pattern altitude. It's got 4 minutes and 15 seconds left. That's based on my current altitude, my distance from the field, my ground speed, and the pattern over at Lancaster, which is 1,500, being that they are 400 and some odd feet over sea level. So about 4 minutes, we'll start our descent.
3 Lima Kilo, contact tower 119.9.
I like to set it 4 miles from the field, so I hit my altitude 4 miles out. Allows me to enter a pattern safely. A lot of times people don't realize this, and they set it to hit the pattern at the field. We don't want to be over midfield when we're descending, so give yourself a little bit of leeway. That's what I like to do. We're with Reading approach. I believe that's the last controller before the tower, so I'll bug the tower, which is 209. I could just switch over to tower when he clears me.
1 Charlie Tango, roger.
Check the ATIS one more time, make sure it didn't change on us. 12567.
Lancaster Tower information, Charlie 1153, observation, wind 080 at 3, visibility 10, sky clear. Temperature 21, dew point 13, altimeter 3014. Visual approach, runway 26 or 31 in use.
All right, 26 or 31. Let's see from where we're coming. Probably going to give me 26. Could go either way. Let's see. I'm going to guess 26. I'm actually going to bug it now. I'm almost on a straight in for 26. So I'm going to expect 26. See what he thinks.
Cheers, 123 Bravo Mike, reading approach, reading altimeter 3015. You also going to Lancaster?
26 has just shy of 7,000 feet. by 150, good asphalt, it's good. Alright, we're going to land on the left tank, so we're going to put our boost pump on, we're going to switch to the left. Boost pump comes off, we're going to verify fuel pressure is good. The left is the fullest tank. I always want to land on the fullest tank in case I got to do a go-around or you're oversaturated with tasks or you're going missed or holding. You want to make sure you're on the fullest tank always.
Reading approach, Cessna 26907 Juliet, just departed Smoketown to the east.
We're 16 miles out from the field.
500, destination Wilmington.
November 97 Juliet, you won't be entering my airspace. Just Philadelphia approach 124.35.
When I'm about 10 miles out, he's probably going to hand me over the tower. Another couple minutes here. We can start our descent, so descent cruise list. Checklist. We're going to go full mixture. We're going to pull a little bit of power. Flaps are closed and landing and approach lights come on. And start the descent down.
Ready departure experimental.
Up the pattern at 1500.
Experimental 983 Lima Kilo, ready departure, radar contact. Maintain VFR 2500, say altitude.
Maintain VFR 2500 and we'll just pass through 2300.
Experimental 3 Lima Kilo, roger, turn right, heading 100, vector 2, ILS, runway 36, final approach course.
Right to 100, 3 Lima Kilo.
And approach Mooney 242 Hotel Mike, starting a descent into Lancaster with information, Charlie.
Mooney 242 Hotel Mike, roger, 3 miles from Lancaster Airport, radar service terminated, squawks VFR, Lancaster Tower 120.9.
Over the tower, see you on the way back to Hotel Mike. Lancaster Tower, good morning, Mooney 242 Hotel Mike is 13.5 from the field with information, Charlie. We are inbound, full stop from the north. From the northwest.
Number 242, Hotel Mike, Lancaster Tower, make straight in runway 26, report 3 miles out.
Straight in for 26, we'll report on a 3-mile final to Hotel Mike. Alright, that's what I expected. I figured he'd give me runway 26. It's practically almost a straight in. Now 12.5 miles. Gonna accelerate the descent a little bit.
169 still 2x5.
And have the field in sight. Activated a visual approach, it's giving me a glide slope. Show me I'm a little high, which is fine.
Clear land 31, clear check 107.
Slow it down. Landing lights are on. Runway is bugged. Keep it coming down, intercept the glide slope, and we already have a visual.
13 to the east inbound landing Lancaster. With Charlie.
6 or 3-1 in use. Advise on contact at your information. Charlie. 12 to 11 o'clock, 3 miles, report 3 miles final runway 26. Lancaster Tower information, Charlie, 1153 observation, wind 080 at 3. Visit traffic 12 to 11 o'clock, 3 miles.
Alright, wind is 080.
Roger, 429. 429, I'll slow down.
Be a slight tailwind on this one, so ground speed's going to be a little faster. Alright, we're going to trim up a little bit to slow down. We're 7.5 miles from the field. Got a visual on the runway. Needle's going to start to move, we'll intercept. No traffic observed between here and the field, and no traffic on ADSB. Just got to watch for pesky birds. What a beautiful, clear day, high pressure, super smooth. Good flight. All right, we're going to turn final, intercept. Boost pump is going to come on. We're 6 miles from the field. Once we're established, we'll drop the gear. Quartering tail will be a quick final. All right, gear's coming down. In transition, gear's down and locked, and we've got a green light, so we're good. Right. Join the final course. Got the Vazzy, we got 4 whites, so we're going to come down a little more.
Yes, sir. We're going to do one more lap in the pattern. Clear check 107.
Clear check 10731.
Alright, prop's going to come full about here.
Delta Alpha, clear check 107.
Boost pump is on. Do a quick gums check. So we got
Let's take off 31, right on course 169.
gas is on the fullest tank, boost pump is on. Undercarriage is geared down and locked. Mixture is full rich. Prop is full. Safety, we got seats, seat belts, and door all secure. We're going to tighten up a little bit for landing. Once we report 3 miles out, we'll drop some flaps.
We were told to try to look for that traffic ahead of us also.
931 Charlie Tango, Lancaster Tower, straight in 26, report 3 miles out.
Report 3 miles out, 1 Charlie Tango.
And that tower, Mooney 242 Hotel Mike, 3 mile final for 26.
2 Hotel Mike, continue, expect your clearance at 1 mile. There will be a vehicle crossing the intersection.
Alright, continue and we'll wait for clearance at 1 mile, 2 Hotel Mike. I see the vehicle crossing.
Airfield 3, proceed on runway 3113, cross intersection.
Alright, we're going to put half flaps here.
Alpha 3, proceeding
Trim up.
3113, crossing 26.
Put in full flaps here. We're 1.5 miles out.
$500.
Alright, we're center line.
Hotel Mike, runway 26, clear to land.
Runway 26, clear to land, 2 Hotel Mike. Alright, we just got our clearance. We intercepted the glide slope here. And straight in. Alright, we got 75 knots indicated.
Runway 429, runway 26, clear to land number 2.
Clear to land number 2, 74429 or 26.
Still early in the morning, so no thermals yet. Alright, down to 70 knots, short final.
Lancaster Tower, hello, 123 Bravo Mike, with you about 10 miles to the east inbound with Charlie.
Number 123 Bravo Mike, Lancaster Tower, straight in 26, report a 3 mile final.
Straight in 26, call you on a 3 mile final, 123 Bravo Mike.
Tower 2 Hotel Mike, we're going to Lancaster Avionics. Where do you want us off?
Number 2 Hotel Mike, turn left on hotel, taxi, hotel, hold short of 31.
Alright, left on hotel and short of 31, 2 Hotel Mike.
Lancaster Alpha 3 is clear of 31.
Alpha 3, roger.
We're here in Lancaster. Landed with a small little tailwind.
Tower 91 Charlie Tango.
Had to hold it off for a bit, but nice long runway, it's okay.
26, clear to land.
26, 1 Charlie Tango.
Number 2 Hotel Mike, taxi avionics via Bravo Alpha, cross 31.
Alright, taxi via Bravo, Alpha, and cross 31, 2 Hotel Mike. Alright, shut down.
Number 429 calling tower, you're loud and clear.
Landed here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, heading into Lancaster Avionics now, and hopefully get some of these issues fixed, and then I'll see you guys on the flight back home.